morning. Or perhaps it's not morning, but it's your first opportunity to move today. This session is about releasing stiffness and stagnation, allowing the energy to flow freely through your body and mind. Think of it as setting the intention to move well, take care, and stay grounded. I guarantee you will feel the shift in these precious 20 minutes or so. Hey friends. Okay, just find a comfortable seat now. Take a breath or two. Feel like you're arriving in your body, noticing the details. Feel your ribs soften down the front body. Feel like your inhales expand more east and west or out to the side, then out the front or the top of the chest, just to relax your spinal muscles. Feel very easy here. Good, just paying attention to the breath. Feeling the shape change in your rib cage and the ease in your mid-back. Start to wiggle through the spine, but stay grounded in the sits bones. Just start to move that energy. Place one hand on the mat and lift the other arm up into a supported, easy side bend. And don't think of this as a stretch as much as making more room for air. Just flow through this movement side to side, going as slow or as fast as you think serves. Just want you to feel that you're stretching between each rib. Just enjoying that lengthening of the tissue along the side body. Just moving as your body is telling you to. Trying to keep the opposite sit bone grounded and perhaps deepening into the stretches as you go along. Feel like you're moving through your final stretch. Just breathing and lengthening. Giving more attention to one side if needed. Just finding balance back on the sits bones. Loosen the shoulders and neck. I'm going to move into some simple seated spinal rotations. So move again intuitively, using your arms to help create length in the spine, allowing the head and neck to turn in the opposite direction as the twist. Just warming up the rotation in the spine. Going back and forth. Good, and then finding center again. And see if seated cross-legged or in double pigeon is your best hip opening position. And just choosing to stay seated upright or coming into a forward fold, lengthening tailbone back, shoulder blades down and back, heart forward. Whether in cross-legged or double pigeon, you're looking for a place of ease, some place you can move and wiggle and breathe and feel the hips lengthening back and the spine lengthening forward. And if anything feels like too much, you just need to soften. Ease out of the position just a bit, breathe more. Just experiment with the different positions of the spine and deeper breath. Perhaps the elbows can come to the knees or even the ground, but try not to hunch the back in the process. The lower back should feel like it's lengthening towards the space behind you. The prayer position in the hands can allow your head to rest on your thumbs comfortably, if that's a good option for you. Maybe those elbows come down to the floor. These are all just options. You want to feel a nice heat and opening sensation in the back of the hips, ease in the front of the hips, and the knees, of course. There should be No discomfort in the joints. All right, lean back to take pressure off of the knees. Good. Let's stretch those legs out in front of you. Blood flow back through the knee joints. Hips reach back, arms reach up to the sky, lengthening the spine. If straight legs feels like it's causing you to round the lower back, bend them so you can lengthen and fold over the legs. Bending the knees if you need, but try to keep your lower back from curling under. If you want to grab those feet, feel free to bend the knees just enough. Feel the shoulder blades are relaxed on the back, not tight by the ears. And give your feet some love and attention. Perhaps wiggle the toes, flex the feet. Give a little massage. Just be in your body for a bit. One more nice lengthening of the spine. Perhaps the legs become a little straighter. Okay, soften and release. Wiggle out those shoulders. Just feel the length in the spine and place the hands back behind you to a supported, easy back bend. Okay, so going to your cross leg or double pigeon position on the other side. Finding both sits bones heavy, creating a long line in the spine, sitting upright or leaning forward for more depth. Just breathing. Continue to remember that if the breath isn't easy, then the posture is a little too deep. And if you feel very rounded and tight in the lower back, ease back, lengthen the tailbone back, but you can always sit on something that will help to free up the position as well. Find your most comfortable resting position. Maybe a minute of gratitude that you made this time, that you feel these sensations in your body. This is some good stuff, guys. That sensation in your hips should feel juicy, really good, gratifying, not painful. Maybe you're flirting with the edge of hurts so good, but stay on the right side of that line. Always feel like you can smile. Smile right into those tight places. Lean back to take any pressure off of your knee joints and stretch those leggies out. Blood flow back through the knees, finding the length in the hamstrings and the spine. Spine is the priority. Only straighten the legs as much as you can, keeping the length in the lower back. Reach for those feet and just undulate the spine longer, keeping the neck feeling free, perhaps giving yourself another little foot massage. Those feet are so important and so neglected. They have so many nerve endings, and they're trapped in shoes most of the day for most of us. Okay, release into a bit of a shoulder roll and perhaps a soft back bend. And we're going to go back to your initial cross-leg position. See if there is more space in your hips now. Wiggle, lengthen. I want you to enjoy the deeper posture that your body will allow now. Longer spine, deeper forward fold. Perhaps if you were in cross leg, now that double pigeon is available. And the same on the other side. Just checking in, getting into that juicy stretch. Our morning bodies are very stiff and tight. And sometimes we're stiff and tight all day long until we do this sort of movement. So just sink in and enjoy for a second the space you've created, the ease you've created in your body. Just checking in with both sides, perhaps one side tighter than the other. You're deciding where you want to give more attention and just spending some time in that place, creating balance. Okay, so come to a comfortable seated position, cross-legged position, and reach the arms forward to create length in the spine without tightness in your neck, and walk your hands over to one side. And try to keep your shoulders square, avoid tipping one shoulder up, and then walking over, folding over the other knee, creating a forward fold and side bend. This should be in the hips and the spine. And from here, just transition into a hands and knees position. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders, roll those shoulders back, lift the heart for your first cow spine. Just explore this position. Feel as you're drawing the heart forward and the shoulders down, how you increase that thoracic extension, and then press the shins down, lift the belly and the pubic bone up, and really feel the belly muscles increase the round shape in the lumbar spine. And I want you to just move and rock and sway through this movement. It's amazing the difference you can create with just a small adjustment. And after you've taken your time to explore the cat-cow movement, I want you to slowly transition into your first downward dog. Bend one knee, reaching the other heel down into the earth, feeling the hips sway, and switch. Lengthening through the shoulder blades, through the hip, the hamstring, the calf muscle. And just walk your dog side to side, keeping the entire hand making contact with the earth so that you don't stress your wrists. Feel like you're trying to keep wrinkles out of the front of your wrists. Just explore down dog for a moment. Be here. Keep lengthening the hips back, the heart towards your toes, the heels towards the earth. And we're going to try a bit of a twist now, bending one knee and twisting the opposite armpit towards that knee and switching. Really feel that energetic connection between armpit and opposite knee, feeling how it changes the stretch through the entire body. Okay, make your way to your knees. Toes can be closer together, knees further apart, and we're going to start circling one arm. Nice big circles, sitting the hips back and then forward, just opening up the chest and shoulders. Good, and change directions. And just start to feel that thoracic rotation and the shoulder rotation. And then thread the needle, bringing your arm down to the mat and using the other arm as a bit of a kickstand to help create a twist in the spine and an opening of the shoulder. You want to feel that you're laying on your shoulder more than your neck. And that top arm you can use to create a bit of leverage to help twist the spine. Then use it to help you back up to your quadruped position. And we're going to start with the other side now. Just rolling big circles, rotating the spine, rotating the shoulder. Good, just opening the chest and then stretching back, changing directions. This should all feel like nice, easy movement. But it's amazing when you put it all together how your body will feel. Okay, laying that arm down, threading the needle using the top arm as a kickstand to create that thoracic rotation and a stretch for your shoulder where it meets your back. Just being here, discovering what needs to happen and adjust to make this your most gratifying, beneficial stretch. Nice deep breath. Just sink in. Good, come on back up to quadruped. From here, we're going to move into a modified up dog position. If you can, keeping your thighs off the ground and your toes tucked. You can keep your thighs on the ground if that's more comfortable, but a more active stretch may be to keep your toes tucked and your thighs off the ground, finding your plank position and then back into your down dog. Finding the length in the back body, calf stretch, hamstring stretch, shoulder stretch, spine lengthens, hips come forward, hips draw down, legs and glutes stay active, arms stay super active, press the ground away, tip the heart up, and feel that front body stretching, and then back through plank to the down dog position again. From here, come onto your knees. And we're going to get those toes tucked under. And if comfortable, sit back on the heels, placing the hands on the thighs. But you can always keep your hands on the ground if this feels like stress on your feet, toe joints, knee joints. Wherever you are, be comfortable. Just breathe and opening up gently the knees, the feet, the plantar fascia, the thighs. Then part the feet and keep the knees together, rolling the flesh of the calves away, trying to sit in between your feet. Remember, you can always keep your hands forward and slowly work your way back to seated between your feet. Do not force your knees. If and when your hips feel comfortable between your feet on the mat, you can place your hands behind you on the mat. Start to think about tucking your tailbone under and opening the front of your hips, even lifting your hips to do so. Taking the crease out of the lumbar spine and opening the front of the hips more, so that when you lay back, you're not dumping into the lower back. There should be a natural arch there, but not pressure or pain. We want to keep the stretch through the quads and the hip flexors, and just have a natural curve in the lumbar spine. You're keeping your hands on the floor for as long as needed, and if it feels comfortable to lay all the way back, do so. But try not to let the ribs and pelvis splay from one another. So no huge back bend, more of a natural curve in the lumbar spine and a settled chest and rib cage, so that we can keep the stretch in the thighs. You may reach the arms back and just be wherever you are. Right now, the purpose is to feel an opening in the front of the thighs and hips. If you're all the way back, being mindful that you do not feel an intense sensation in the lumbar spine. Easy breath. Gentle opening of the body. Honor where you are right here, right now. And then if you're on your back, make sure to come to your elbows, slowly make your way up. Use your hands, use your breath. Softly come out of it. Back into the hands and knees position into a runner's lunge. Lengthen one heel back, just letting blood flow rush through the knee joints. As long as you're careful not to be aggressive, that last stretch is extremely healing for the knees. And now you're just letting that fresh blood flow through. Okay, so we are preparing now for a camel pose, a back bend. Place the hands on the hips. This first position of the hands is the most available for most people. If you want a little more wrist and shoulder stretch, place the fingertips down. And if you can, place the fingertips up. Palms on your back, elbows squeeze towards one another. This will give you a great shoulder and wrist stretch, as well as opening the front of the hips, the chest, and back bending the spine. You can keep your hands here, absolutely. There is no competition, no pressure. But if you are comfortable in full camel, you can reach back for your feet And make sure to press the hips forward. You're not allowing your hips to press back towards your heels. You want to squeeze the bottom to open the hips, to point the tailbone down. You are not just back bending in your lumbar spine. You are opening the chest. Then bring the hands back to the hips. Sit comfortably on the heels. Rest, wiggle, reset. A little forward bend. Child's pose should feel like a reset. If something else serves you more, absolutely go there. Rocking side to side, feeling the massage in the hips, the ankles, the spine. And let's prepare for one more camel pose. So we're going to get the knees under the hips, place the hands on the hips the way you choose, pressing the heels of the hands into the glutes, lift the heart. Feel like the spine is trying to move up through your sternum. You're not trying to go back nearly as much as you're trying to lift the spine through the chest. If you keep that lift rather than just going back, you're going to keep the pressure out of your lumbar spine and the length through the thoracic, through the hip flexors, through the quads. We tend to overbend in the lower back. Let's place the hands back on the hips, sit the hips on the heels, and reset once again. We're going to go into one more child's pose, just rounding the spine in the opposite direction, allowing the head to rest by the knees. Keeping the knees together creates a more round back as a counter pose to your camel. Swaying side to side to massage the front of the ankles, the shins, the hips, the lumbar. And then find your seated position once again, right on top of the sits bones, bending the knees if needed. You want to feel that length in the lumbar spine, reaching up to the sky and forward folding to find your feet, bending the knees as much as needed so that you can find your feet once again. Take this opportunity to give yourself another little foot massage. Notice pulling back on the outer edges of the feet can help you create a deeper, more complete hamstring stretch. And you can allow the upper and middle back to round into a forward fold for a deeper spine stretch now. And then come back to your comfortable seated position. Pay attention to the grounding of the sits bones and where you tend to put your rib cage in this position. Rather than thrust it forward, find a true upright position by allowing the ribs to fill the back and letting the head and chin adjust up. Feeling the energy of the spine flowing freely and a subtle core connection. This ease allows breath and energy to move. If you care to, put your hands in prayer position at your heart, just to give yourself a reminder of your intention for today, of your gratitude. I'm certainly grateful for you. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me.